Wait a minute, is it?
Well, the city gets their way, they probably will be coming to you, right? I think so.
So I say hi, he won't even recognize me. He will. What's that? What? What's wrong?
Bobby.
My meetings are always on time. Let's go. No, we don't. Not everything in government is slow. We're fast. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. March now. Oh, I'm using my journal. Did you hit your boat?
Yes.
Up at the river?
like to call the May 2016 general session to order. If you'd like to rise for the pledge and the prayer, we'll move on.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Peck, tonight, you.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the time that we can come together tonight to conduct our family business. And I pray that you will lead us and direct us and grant us wisdom and guidance. Lord, I pray for the people in our community that are suffering with drug addiction. Lord, that every day something new comes out that people are finding ways to destroy themselves. Lord, I pray that you will help us, help our communities, our families, trash, and help us review our health.
Roll call. Yes. Okay. Yep. Roll call.
Legislator Doctor? Drake? Adsett? Doldo? Johnson? Maxson? Monticelli? Fitzpatrick? Jarrow? Nebewanik? McBride? Ferris? Peck? Gray?
Here.
14 present.
Thank you. We have a full house of proclamations tonight, so we shall begin with reading some. The first is Community Action Month. It says, whereas Community Action has emerged from the heart of President Lyndon B. Johnson, 1964 proclamation of America's war on poverty, where battles must be won in the field, in every private home, and every public office, from the courthouse to the White House. And whereas Community Action has put a human face on poverty for 52 years by advocating for low-income, limited-income citizens without a voice, so they mentor the middle class and reach for the American dream, replacing their despair with opportunity. Whereas Community Action builds and promotes economic stability as an essential aspect of enabling and enhancing stronger communities, which in turn promotes self-sufficiency, ensuring that all Americans are able to live in dignity. Whereas Community Action has enhanced the lives of millions of people across America by providing essential, life-changing services and opportunities such as affordable housing, economic development, health care, energy assistance, natural disaster relief, and recovery. And whereas Community Action serves 99% of America's counties and rural, suburban, and urban communities, and because it is right and in our hearts and minds, we believe it is possible, we will conquer poverty in our lifetime. Whereas Community Action will continue to implement innovative and cost-effective programs to improve the lives and living conditions of the impoverished, continue to provide support opportunities for all citizens in need of assistance, and continue to be a major voice in establishing welfare system reforms. Now therefore, I, Scott Gray, Chairman of the Board of Legislators of the County of Jefferson, State of New York, do hereby proclaim May 2016 as Community Action Month. Thank you all very much for all your services. How are you? Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your services.
Thank you.
Where would you like us? Right in front of this?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Next up. Proclamation for Emergency Medical Services Week. Emergency Medical Services is vital public service, and whereas the members of the Emergency Medical Services teams are already ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. Whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, first responders, educators, dispatchers, administrators, and others. Whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, whether career or voluntary, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance the life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, I, Scott Gray, Chairman of the Board, Jefferson County Legislature, in New York, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 15th through the 23rd, 2016 as Emergency Medical Services Week, with the theme EMS Strong, Called to Care. Last and certainly not least is Mental Health Month. Whereas mental health is the most prevalent health problem in America, impacting the individual, the family, and the community as a whole. Whereas overall health care includes caring for one's mind as well as one's body, is essential for success at home, at work, and at school. Whereas mental illness affects 1 in 4 adults and children in a given year, regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, and economic status. Whereas mental health and recovery are critical for individual well-being and the vitality of our communities and our families. Those suffering from mental health illness symptoms can benefit from the treatment options such as medication, psychotherapy, family and community support programs, and whereas early identification and treatment increase the likelihood of success, recovery, and whereas the cost of untreated mental health far exceeds the cost of community-based recovery-oriented treatment programs. Whereas the Northern Regional Center for Independent Living, the Mental Health Association, Samaritan Medical Center, Carthage Area Hospital, Transitional Services of Northern New York, the Children's Home of Jefferson County, the Credo Community Center, Jefferson Rehabilitation Center, Fort Drum Behavioral Health Services, and Family Health Services, Family Counseling Services, River Hospital, as well as many other public and private providers, are directing their efforts towards raising awareness and promoting recovery from mental health by observing Mental Health Month each May. Now, therefore, I, Scott A. Gray, Chairman of the Board of Legislators of the County of Jefferson, do hereby proclaim May 2016 as Mental Health Month. We do. We do have Roger, who obviously everybody knows, but the proclamation will also be read at the Mental Health Awareness Walk, which is May 18th. Thank you. At what time in the morning?
It'll start at 9 in the morning at the state office building, and then the walk goes to Thompson Park for a picnic and a celebration of the summer.
There you go. Okay. Thanks, Roger. We'll read this again then. Okay. That is done. There. Now I'll take a drink. Okay, it's time for anybody else to speak now. Privilege of the floor. If you'd like to address the board, please step forward, state your name and address, and if you can keep it to 5 minutes or less, we'd certainly appreciate your time.
Good evening. My name is Gunther Schaller. I live at 17348 County Route 5 in Clayton, New York. I'm a taxpayer in Clayton and also in the town of Lyme. Chairman Gray, Vice Chair Johnson, members of the board, I appreciate the opportunity to address you briefly. I'm deeply concerned about the growing threat of international wind companies attacking communities along the shore of Lake Ontario, anywhere from Somerset and Yates to Clayton and Orleans. So far, we have not seen really the full impact of what their agenda contains. They are rather secretive about their plans. The plans they had up to about 5-6 years ago apparently have been changed due to the increase in the technology and the changing conditions. So far, 2 of the towns have received applications for MET towers, that's meteorological towers, that would allow Iberdrola to measure the wind speeds and therefore determine the suitability of certain sites and locations for the actual towers to go up. I would consider that more a skirmish in the upcoming war that's going to be fought in this community. Perhaps a skirmish to determine the amount of resistance that may have developed over the years since they last approached the towns about their projects, but we cannot be sure. We know that the state of New York has, to a large extent, usurped home rule for the various towns, so we are standing rather powerless, and my addressing the board is more or less a plea for entities larger than the individual towns to perhaps coordinate a mutual defense, to consider all the impacts, not just the visual, aesthetic impacts. A lot of people have been talking about that. If you focus, and the primarily concern here is impact on the fiscal future of this community. We have seen from the Henderson study that the devaluation of the local properties is somewhere in the neighborhood of $40 million just on the devaluation of the real estate. And here's a community that has no benefits gained from the neighboring communities perhaps approving a project. Lyme may be in a similar situation. If the town of Brownville goes ahead and agrees to the Iberdrola project, Lyme will be in a position of having the negative impact and none of the benefits. We've seen since 2008 the town of Cape Vincent still has not yet recovered its tax base on the property values. The number of sales still have not caught up with the number of sales they had in 2008. So it's an increasing problem. It's very much economical. The benefits derived to a few individuals, I think, are largely outweighed by the detriments of the developing programs. The county last month approved and ratified an agricultural rejuvenation program, which, other than for backyard use of wind and solar and biomass for farmers, has been relatively silent, has been silent on the threat of international wind turbines or industrial complexes in the community. Some of the leaseholders are absentee landlords who don't apparently share a great deal of concern about the future of their land as long as they can make a few dollars from their leases. Some of the farmers are approaching retirement age or have retired, and it's understandable they wish to perhaps secure ownership of their land for another generation. But what they fail to recognize is that the leases they have signed cover up to 60 years. That's 15 federal presidential elections in the future. We have to anticipate what the future might look like. And I think that if the county could act as a coordinating factor and perhaps use its good offices to work with the towns and help the towns to face this common threat together, I think we might have a better chance of prevailing in this. And I appreciate you listening to my plea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Anybody else that would like to address the board? Hearing none, we'll close privilege of the floor. So I guess I better keep that in. Reading of the minutes of the last session. Does anybody have a desire for me to read more? Hearing none, then they'll stand as presented. Petitions, presentation of petitions, notice, and communications, please.
Mr. Chairman, we have none for this month.
That's a wonderful thing. Reports of standing committee.
We have a report of the Finance and Rules Committee reporting favorably on resolutions 133, 134, 135, 136, and 140.
Okay, local laws, resolutions, and motions. Resolution number 122.
Approving mortgage tax report.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution 123.
Calling for increase in the share of revenue counties retain for providing state DMV services.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution 124.
Authorizing reappointments to the Jefferson Lewis Workforce Development Board.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 125, please.
Amending management compensation plan for 2016.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 126.
Calling on the State of New York to fully reimburse counties for district attorney salary increases set by the State of New York.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 127, please.
Reappointing Director of Real Property Tax Services.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 128.
Authorizing the purchase of real property for the purpose of establishing public access to Slacklock County Forest Preserve in the town of Champion.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 129.
Authorizing the chairman of the board to execute certain purchase agreements for real property to be used for radio transmission towers for the emergency management radio system.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 130.
Authorizing agreement with McFarland Johnson Incorporated for passenger facility charge program application development services in relation to the Watertown International Airport.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 131.
Authorizing agreements in relation to the aviation fuel and refueler truck lease at the Watertown International Airport.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 132.
Authorizing agreement in relation to juvenile secure detention and the supervision and treatment services for juveniles program.
Discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 133.
Amending the 2016 county budget in relation to the Sheriff's Department.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Legislator Doldo?
Yes.
Doctor?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Maxon?
Yes.
McBride?
Yes.
Adsit? Fitzpatrick? Ferris?
Yes.
Drake?
Yes.
Monticelli?
Yes.
Nebewanik?
Yes.
Jarrow?
Yes.
Peck?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 134.
Amending the 2016 county budget to recognize insurance recovery and allocating same in the Sheriff's Department budget.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Legislator Maxon?
Yes.
Doldo?
Yes.
Nebewanik?
Yes.
Ferris?
Yes.
Drake?
Yes.
Peck?
Yes.
Doctor?
Yes.
Adsit? Jarrow?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick? Johnson?
Yes.
McBride?
Yes.
Monticelli? Gray?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 135.
Amending the 2016 county budget for Office of Aging relative to the Delivery System Reform Incentive Payment Program.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Legislator Monticelli? Drake? Jerro? Adsit? Doctor? Fitzpatrick? McBride? Ferris? Peck? Maxon? Nevawanik? Johnson? Doldo? Gray?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 136.
Amending the 2016 county budget for community services relative to the Delivery System Reform Incentive Payment Program.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Legislator Doctor? McBride? Monticelli? Drake? Doldo? Adsit? Maxon? Fitzpatrick? Peck? Johnson? Nevawanik? Jerro? Harris? Gray?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 137.
Authorizing agreement with Fort Drum Regional Health Planning Organization for telehealth services.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed? Carried. 138, please.
Authorizing amended agreement with Allscripts for purchase of interface between Allscripts and Health Connections.
Motion, please. There's motion. Geez. Discussion. I'm looking at something. I'm looking at. Sorry. There you go. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, aye. Opposed? Carried. I should never read ahead. 139.
Authorizing agreements with emergency medical services agencies relative to the Jefferson County Public Health Service.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement with the Lewis County Public Health Agency for Cancer Services Program Outreach and Educational Services in Jefferson County, and amending the 2016 county budget in relation thereto.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adsit? Jerro? McBride? Drake? Ferris? Doldo? Doctor? Peck? Nevawanik? Johnson? Maxon? Fitzpatrick? Monticelli? Gray?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. This is where I was reading ahead. So, with due respect, I would like a motion and a second to waive the standing rules, permit the introduction of an additional resolution. That'd be Mr. Maxim, and seconded by Mr. Monticelli. All in favor, aye? Opposed? Carried. On the resolution, number 141, please.
Authorizing agreement in relation to Watertown International Airport terminal improvements.
May I have a motion, please? Mr. Jarrell. Second, Mr. Monticelli. Any discussion? None? All in favor, aye? Opposed? Carried. That sums up the resolutions. For those in the audience, if you, we discuss these resolutions throughout the month in various committees, so they kind of go by fast at the regular board meetings, so. Okay. Is there anything else to come before the board? Mr. Maxson.
Thank you, Chairman Gray. I just wanted to take the opportunity here at the full board meeting to commend what a great job our Sheriff's Department did, our airport did, the airport staff, handling our campaign visitors last month, and what a fantastic job our elections staff did with such a high turnout in the primary. It rivaled so many of our general elections, and I think that it has a lot to do with how well our staff handled all of our VIPs visiting the area, so they did a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Maxim. You just took the words right off my desk. So well, that was well enough said that I'll just say ditto. They did an excellent job. Our community was, and the members of our community were able to come out and either voice their support or peacefully voice their opposition to candidates, wherever they chose. Everything was peaceful, everything was respectful. We moved tremendous amount of people around that weekend without any incident whatsoever. If any of you saw the pictures, there's tremendous amount of traffic on 12F going to the airport, and it went extremely well. And the fact that we had 2 incoming dignitaries at the same time with both Secret Service and motorcades coming in within an hour of each other at the Watertown Airport, and we had to usher people around and get one downtown and one out to the airport, speaks well of our staff and the planning and preparation. They spent a very busy week getting prepared for these events. There's a tremendous amount of planning that makes sure that everything goes smoothly and people are able to take part in the political process, which is democracy in action. Whether you support a candidate or not, you have the right to show up and peacefully support somebody or peacefully oppose somebody. And that's what happened in our community, and that's what it's about. So kudos to all the departments that were involved. There was a tremendous amount. Buildings and grounds were out there. The highway department was out there cleaning the parking lots and tidying up the buildings. Not that they need much. I mean, they're always well taken care of, but they were, if they were going to leave no stone unturned, so to speak. We did tamp down a few stones, but it was the weekend to be proud of. We're proud of the staff every day of the week, every day of the year, and that was one particular weekend where they were very visible in the community, and they did a tremendous job. So it's my hats off to all the staff. I respect them all. So.
Just wanted to say that several thousand people several Saturdays ago found out we have a fantastic airport.
Mm-hmm. We do. Anything else? If not, we will give away to Mr. Hageman. Parts and words of wisdom on it.
I simply want to do a straw poll. Assuming everybody will be here at the next board meeting, nobody has a vacation, Phil's vacation today. But if not, there's a good possibility we might actually do our group photo next month. We want to kind of get into a habit of doing it in the first year, because unfortunately the last time around we didn't quite get everybody. So we will confirm, but if that's the case, show up about a half hour early. That's all. Thank you.
Does that meet with everybody's schedule, Mr. Drake? You're the traveling man. Check your golf schedule. We don't want to compete with that. So, is there anything else to come before the committee? If not, we will entertain a motion to adjourn, and a second. All in favor? We're adjourned.